right, so welcome back. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with me. I really appreciate it, and I promise it's going to be well worth it. And if you happen to just find this video because maybe somebody sent it to you or because you're some kind of internet ninja, then you might want to go and check out my new book, Status, which you can get a free download of by simply entering your name and your best email address underneath this video. Now, here's the question. How do you become the most well-known, well-respected, and highest paid person in your industry? Better yet, here's a better question. Better question is, how do you make a lot more money while doing a lot less work? Well, the first step in that is understanding that the way business is conducted today has changed. Now, those who understand it are going to thrive, and everybody else is going to die. Let me explain exactly what I mean. So when I was a kid, my dad used to take me to Blockbuster Video on Friday night to get the latest new release. And if you happen to grow up in the 80s or the 90s, you know exactly what it's like to burst through the front door of the Blockbuster and race to the back of the store only to find that the movie you wanted to rent was completely sold out. The same thing was true if you wanted to go to the bookstore to get the latest new release. Oftentimes you showed up and it was completely gone. There was a time in New York City when you had trouble catching a cab. It was an age of scarcity. You know, there used to be this sense of urgency, this feeling of being left out or left behind. And we as entrepreneurs and marketers, well, we could use that to our advantage to force everybody to show up at exactly the same place at exactly the same time, just clamoring for what we've got. But those days are largely over. Companies like Amazon and Netflix and Uber have made waiting really an unacceptable inconvenience. We're no longer living in an age of scarcity. We've entered a new age of apathy. Now, you've no doubt noticed this in your business. It's hard to get somebody's attention. It's even harder to keep their attention. There's no longer this sense of urgency. Because we can have anything that we want pretty much whenever we want it, we become apathetic and entitled. As if that wasn't enough, marketing costs are going up. When I first looked at this graph, I thought, wow, that looks great. Then I realized that for some reason, the graph is backwards. See, since 2014, advertising costs on Facebook have gone up 800%, and that number keeps climbing. And then take a look at this. While ad costs continue to skyrocket, organic reach has declined from 28% in 2011 to 0.5% today. Bottom line, what you're feeling is real. And if you're still trying to build a brand the old way, you're in trouble. So is there any good news? Of course there is. You see, the fact that marketing costs are going up and it's getting more expensive to reach your core audience doesn't mean that it's not still the best time to start a new business. In fact, it's cheaper and easier to start a business today than it's ever been. Just think about your cell phone. I mean, something like this, it gives you the ability to go live anytime, day or night, to anyone in the world instantly, means that you can reach your audience anytime, night or day. And you've also got companies like Wix and WordPress that make building your next website as simple as dragging and dropping little boxes rather than having to do any coding at all. But with all of those pluses comes a lot of minuses. There are a lot of new voices. With the reduced cost means an increase in the number of players, meaning your audience, your core group of audience, is being inundated with one bad marketing message after another. But you know what? Here's the cold, hard reality about business. Before anybody can buy from you, they have to know you. And the simple fact is that most of the people that I work with are overcomplicating what they do to the point of paralysis. I mean, think about it this way. Virtually every coach, consultant, entrepreneur, and sales professional that I know spends the vast majority of their time doing two things: talking or typing. In fact, 90% of the money that they make are spent doing those two things. Yet virtually none of them spend any time focused on becoming expert communicators. The simple fact is this: whether we're talking about marketing or branding or influence, whatever it is, it all boils down to simple communication. They have no influence. are spending their entire day begging for business, competing on price, and hating their entire life. And so let's both agree from here on out that that is no longer going to be you. And we're going to focus all of our attention on how we make you the kind of icon that you know you want to be. First things first, we have to understand what's necessary to grow a business. And again, people completely overcomplicate this. There are really only 3 ways to grow a business. You can get more people to buy your stuff. That's way one. You can get them to pay more for what they buy. That's another way. And then last but not least, you can get them to buy more frequently. Now, what we really want is we want more people paying higher prices and buying more frequently. Wouldn't that be nice? Well, here's the great thing about building a strong personal brand is that it helps you do all 3 of those things. First, by having a stronger brand, your voice is elevated over everybody else in your industry. So they're more likely to hear your message than other people's. It also helps to soften the buying process as well because people are already familiar with who you are. Second, you can charge more for what you do because people recognize you as an authority, as an icon in your industry, and they'll pay more for your information, for your product or service than somebody else's. And then finally, because they like you and because they like the content that you put out and you've been ethical and honorable in the way that you communicate with them, they like buying from you. They like hearing from you. And so you're able to go out more often and make more offers to them and not have them angry at you all the time. Okay, so how do you do it? How do you get recognized? Well, again, let's keep it simple. Everybody in society, and the whole world, in fact, is really just hankering for 3 things. They're looking for certainty, significance, and love and connection. And if we boil it all down, they're really looking for increase in their wealth and their health and their happiness, and they just don't know how to get it. And yet most of the entrepreneurs that I work with and that I hear are talking about feature benefit, feature benefit, feature benefit. And that's not truly what people want. Remember, we're living in an age of apathy. We're no longer in that age of scarcity. And in the age of apathy, you have to find some way to speak to the core of your audience if you ever want them to listen to your message. So let's take a look at a few ways that you can quickly raise your voice up and become a recognized authority in your industry, no matter where you're at today.
Now, the first one is be specific. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let me be specific. What I mean is speak in absolutes. We all know that there are multiple ways to do anything, but if someone asks you if it's better to focus on, say, SEO than paid traffic, an expert's probably going to respond with, yeah, well, it depends. And you know what? He's absolutely right, but here's the problem. People don't want to be told it depends. They want to be told, this is the way you should do it, this is exactly how you do it, and these are the results that you're going to get when you do it, guaranteed. What they're really looking for is certainty. The second one is rites and rituals, and what I want you to do is I want you to start asking your followers to make small changes to their life by altering their existing routines and doing something that they've never done before. To give you an example of this, one of the things that I do each morning is I go through what I call my morning planning session. And I've taught this to my followers for years, and I insist that they do the same thing. Not only does it get me focused on the key tasks that I need to complete for the day, but it also focuses my mind on the long-term goals that I have. Only positive things can come out of spending 10 minutes prepping your day. This simple ritual improves the lives of my followers and also deepens the connection that we have together. So find ways to inject yourself into their lives in a consistent and positive way. Number 3 is be entertaining. And for Pete's sake, if you don't do the other 2, please just don't be boring. I mean, it may come as a shock to you, but people do not go on social media to be sold. And that makes your sales pitch an intrusion on what would otherwise be a chance to waste some time. In fact, if we take a look at the top 5 reasons why people say they use social media, number 3 is literally to waste time.
Having influence, being an authority figure, or better yet, an icon in your industry starts with getting known. After that, we got to make them like you. And that's what I'm going to teach you how to do in the next video. So stick around, we are just getting started.